Excellent. That is a good metaphor for starting your own startup. Coming early, checking how you make your slides work. So good to see everybody. I'm James. I'm super excited to tell you about something that's extremely close to my heart today, and it's the journey of the builder. So quickly, a hands up if you've heard this story before. There's a hero, there's an unexpected adventure, there's a test of the hero's character and will, there's a battle where everything is on the line, and then there's the hero emerging triumphant. I assume most people here have heard of it, and I'd wager you have, because that story is called the hero's journey. It's also known as the monomyth. It's a narrative template. It's an all-embracing metaphor for the journey that a hero goes through spiritually and physically on their journey. It's now solidified in Hollywood, so think about everyone's favorite Jedi, everyone's favorite wizard, my personal favorite Hobbit, and all the journeys of Dorothy, of Simba, of Aladdin, and so many more. It takes place over 3 acts. The hero starts in their normal world. They face a problem. It leads to adventure. There's a mentor. That mentor gives advice. Think about Mr. Miyagi maybe in The Karate Kid or Morpheus in The Matrix. Then there's an initiation. The hero leaves the known world to go into the unknown world of the adventure. They face tests. They meet allies. They eventually come to the edge of a dangerous place. There's a final moment where a big challenge is on the line. And then they go back to the normal world, taking with them everything that they've learned over the past journey, and then they apply that into the new world. But what about the builder's journey? In Web3, we've seen the rise of the builder. There's been a paradigm shift where everyone has gone from a passive user of the internet to an active builder. And indeed, we have many journeys, we have many toolkits and frameworks, but we don't actually have pathways to entrepreneurial success. We don't have things like structures that can help us handhold our journey. And everybody is in this room today a builder. You can adopt a builder's mindset. You can leverage Web3 products and build anything, whether that's in identity, ownership, privacy, or so much more. Juan has already spoken about what Protocol Labs does to back startups, but we have done this very successfully over a decade and supported lots of different builders, both companies we've built as well as companies that have joined our network, raise over $3 billion in capital. And we really help you cross this innovation chasm. We give you stepping stones, we give you bridges, oases in the desert. Think about these structures that Protocol Labs are helping you not just to cross the chasm between your ideas and knowledge and actually building a technology business, but also taking that business through to scale. And the chief structure at the center of that is the builder's funnel. This is what you can leverage step by step across your entrepreneurial journey. There's everything here from education, hackathons, grants, accelerators, investment, and so much more. This extends all the way through to IPO and beyond. And don't take it from us. Ask 50 teams alone who have started at the left-hand side here in education and gone through the entire funnel, including Huddle 01. So as John Lennon famously said, you may say I'm a builder, but I'm not the only one. So, okay, why am I here? Well, much like Bonnie Tyler, Web3 needs more heroes. So I'm going to tell you today of a true legend, a true builder's journey, which has turned into a fictional myth within the Protocol Labs network. And while this is a myth, some of you may recognize the protagonists. I am, of course, talking about the world's first decentralized, real-time hugging communication network, Cuddle 01. Act 1. So this is the story of our hero's departure. Once upon a time in a land near to here, there lived 2 humble visionaries, Ayush Baggins and Samwise Sushmit. Ayush was found in Uttar Pradesh, nearly abandoned by his parents to Scotland of all places. He dreamed of potentially winning a Nobel Peace Prize in behavioral economics. He came across Bitcoin and started learning Solidity. Susmit is our other hero. He's in a village in Rajasthan. He's an early dev at one of India's fastest growing decentralized exchanges, but thinks there's more to life and is committed to Web3 decentralization. Importantly, both are big fans of hugging, an important friction for both of our heroes. So one day, Ayush Baggins comes across 2 transformative technologies, the Intergalaxy Fill System, IGFS, and Philcoin, a crypto-powered oxytocin storage networks. And as we all know, these were built by the real Juan Benet, the famous tech entrepreneur who was also disguised as a Spanish novelist from the mid-20th century. The global pandemic had just come upon us, and it catalyzed one of our heroes' needs for hugs. But existing RTCs proved totally ineffective delivery mechanisms for hugs. So Ayush wanted to make hugging more reliable, efficient, and secure. He was in pursuit of a founder to join him, being a non-technical developer. He looked through his alma mater's entire list of students throughout the history of civilization and found two people that knew Solidity at that time. One of them was Samwise Sushmit. Now, Samwise Sushmit has never checked his LinkedIn in the history of his life. And for anyone who's ever tried to reach out to anybody on LinkedIn, I'm sure you can identify with this problem. But on that day, at that time, 30 minutes before the Hug FS hackathon closed, he checked his LinkedIn and found the message. So they came together and they submitted their application from the first Protocol Labs and ETH Global Hug FS. Man, Hug FS was a tough hack. Wow. There was blood, there was sweat, there was tears, there was also hugs. But finally, Samwise and Sushmit built their prototype. It was called Cadbury, because arguably the only thing that can improve a hug is chocolate. Now, alas, sadly, our heroes were not one of the finalists at that hug. The end. Or is it the end? Because naturally, while doubts had emerged in the minds of our heroes, will people use this technology? Are we the right people to build it? Can it find future growth? And the fact that the wider hug industry was also facing a harsh winter. It was really in a squeeze. Sorry, that was a hug pun. Out of nowhere, there came a really important moment for our heroes. The emergence of a series of wild mentors in the forms of Andrew from Textile, Mark from IGFS, and so many more. And this was an important moment to get early validation of what they were building. As did appear the Fellowship of the Thing, which is a clever IPFS reference for folks out there. Our first mentor appears, Molly, daughter of McKinley, who offers our heroes her sword. Followed by Kolegolas Evrand, who offers the heroes his bow. And finally, Gabriel, son of Takloin, which is a bit of a stretch, who also offers his axe. And of course, there was another council member at this time who was crucial to providing support from Protocol Labs to our heroes. It was, of course, Aaron David Diaz. And the quote here, let him not vow to walk in the dark who has not seen the nightfall, I think is the perfect advice for any startup founder who has tried to go at it alone. And indeed, these were critical moments for our heroes, as I mentioned, because it gave both Ayush and Susmit early validation of what they were trying out, as well as the confidence to try new experiments along their builder journey. And while they did not get a finalist position or prizes from HugFest, they secured over $40,000 in grants and an offer to join the Hypothetical Particle Accelerator by Consensus Labs. Wow, what an act one, finally crossing the bridge between the known and the unknown. Our heroes take the plunge. They join the accelerator and the build of the prototype truly begins. And nothing is impossible when you have a whiteboard, 2 bottles of water, and our heroes. Next, our heroes came across many tests, many allies, and indeed, many enemies. Firstly, many wouldn't give the money because they said, this won't work. I know way better founders that I can trust, and I'm going to give them their money. And let's have a moment of silence, indeed, for those people who made that decision. It's a good lesson for us all. Indeed, there were many allies and many more advocates, believers, and angels assembled many more supporters and acted as proxies to share the message of our heroes. And finally, there were many, many, many competitors, including hedge hugs. It's a permanent hug that never ends. And while hugging is great, no one wants that. Finally, our heroes showed no signs of slowing down on the accelerator. They completed workshop after workshop, fireside after fireside, learning the ways of the startup founders, all of which you can do at 5 p.m. today with a number of our experts in Workshop 5. Nice plug for my track. Then eventually we come to a pivotal moment for our heroes, navigating the complexity that is investor conversations. But then, sorry, I really like the next slide. At the crux of their fatigue, a terrifying noise that we've all heard in our lives. It is a slack pig. Who could that possibly be? It is, of course, Juan Dauf the White. I will help you bear this burden, Ayush Baggins and Samwise Sushmit. How is your fundraising preparation going? Let me help. This was huge. The founder of IGFS and Philcoin giving fresh energies and bestowing upon the heroes wisdom of how to navigate the fundraising minefield. Eventually, before no time at all, demo day was upon them. And they pitched an amazing product launch. Cadbury went down an absolute treat, which was now Cuddle 01. There was indeed continued skepticism about the non-believers, but our heroes persisted, along with the help of their mentor, Juan Dauf the White, because in many investor conversations, while Juan Dauf the White was on their side, it meant he could say to investors, you shall not pass on this round you shall invest. And indeed, while our heroes battled on and the journey was tough, they persevered throughout hundreds of investor conversations, eventually raising an amazing $1.7 million in pre-seed funding from an incredible set of angels and investors, including Juan and Balaji you just heard from. They did it. It was their success and their success alone to revel in. No, it's not. Go away. Finally, the return. Our heroes have money in their bank accounts, soon to be their wallets, obviously, and they return back to their normal world. There are two immediate items of business. Firstly, change the name. Cadbury's legal team, way too strong. Second, hire, hire, hire. Some amazing designers and engineers. And while 1.7 million is not necessarily enough to get engineers, you want engineers that were not in it for the money. They need to really believe in the product and what you're building, because they're the people that will stay with you in the long term. So they found an amazing, amazing new team, which enabled them to also then focus on their product. They had to reimagine Cuddle 01 from an education platform to a Web3 native layer. They had to add functionality and respond to users who wanted SDKs. And importantly, they started integrating with new technology like FVM, which is all we all know stands for Feel Coin Very Magic. It's programmable persistent hugs that it offered on demand anytime, were a game-changing technological integration for the team. And so begins the resurrection of our teams, back with the newfound knowledge, networks, and capital. They traveled around the globe with their new rockstar team. And eventually, with great traction and a product people could feel and touch and really loved, it was time to raise that all-important seed round. But then, again on the startup journey, another left field came out of the blue. They came face to face with the most terrifying of enemies. It was, of course, the bear market, which, as we all know, is always conjured up by some evil magic. Alas, the bear market changed the game for our heroes. It meant, chief among them, investors wouldn't accept the terms of the SAFC, the Simple Agreement for Future Hugs. And it meant that our heroes would need to learn and apply all that they had gained over the last journey and apply it in the new round to raise an amazing $3 million seed round. And this indeed is one of our founders starting a new company, NapDAO, amongst and after the investor conversations. So our heroes complete the return to their homeland. They have since supported Philcoin and Hug Global Hacks. They've hosted their own Cuddle 01 and FVM hackathons, become ambassadors across India and beyond. And they've hosted today their second Phil Bangalore. Important for all of you, these are your next mentors on your startup journey. They are your Elrond Council, and that is a true testament to heroism. The previous generation of startup founders become the next generation of mentors and advisors. And indeed, that is the mythical story of Cuddle 01. Now, I have two final parting words of advice. The first, as I said yesterday, being a founder is just but one of the journeys you can all take on your startup adventure. You can become core protocol developers or operators. You can join a Protocol Labs network company, or you can simply contribute to open source projects, taking full advantage of the new PL Dev Guild that was launched yesterday. And while indeed Protocol Labs, we will give you as much of the structure, programming, opportunities, and networks as you need to help you succeed, you need to step into your builder journey and ultimately write your own story. As Juan Dalf the White did 10 years ago today with an IPFS commit called Big Things Have Small Beginnings. And look where we are today, a really beautiful moment 10 years on. And a big, massive round of applause. A big thank you. We stand on your shoulders, Juan Dalf. Thank you so much. So, what are you waiting for? Become your own hero. We'd love to help you on your journey. Thank you very much indeed.